Welcome yogis, welcome, week 1, congratulations on making it here. If you've seen the previous video, you will know that I'm Sarah, you're in safe hands, and if you're feeling a little bit worried about this, do not worry, it's going to be fun. I'm not going to be pushing you into anything, and you can choose to ignore anything you want to, just as long as you stay safe. Okay, so I'm hoping that you've watched the previous video, so you're in your comfy clothing and you have a sticky mat, and hopefully 2 blocks, so you can see I've got the foam ones or the cork ones and a yoga strap, so you're ready to roll. So every yoga class is structured that, first of all, there is some centering. In Anusara, we always do some beautiful breath work to relax you and allow you to sort of kind of land on the mat and be here. Then we move, and there'll be some seated poses for your spine, some standing poses, maybe a balance. Then we start working down, we'll come back to a seat. We'll do some more breath work, then a Shavasana, you'll love it, and or a meditation at the end. So you get this beautiful, well-rounded practice. And my hope is at the end of the practice, you will feel like you've had a good physical workout and moved and shifted, but also you would have had a bit of a work inward, and you will feel calmer, your breath will be deeper, and then you'll float off into the remainder of your day feeling really connected to yourself, so both physically and emotionally calmer. Okay, and that is what the word yoga means. It means to yoke, and it can mean yoking lots of different things, but one of its major things is that we yoke our emotional body to the physical body and the breath. Okay, so moving, taking those deep breaths as we move will help calm us and integrate us, the yuj, the yoke of yoga. So to begin our lessons, we are going to have some pranayama, some breath work. And we're going to do that seated. And in your seat, I would like you to be really, really comfortable. Don't want anybody sitting there like this, with your knees up and your back tense, especially if you have knee or back pain. You want to pay good attention to making sure, spend some time getting yourself comfortable here seated. So you can see if I sit like this, one of the best things you can do for yourself is sit up, and I always sit up. And I've been doing yoga for donkey's years. So you can see here I've got a block. You might need 2 blocks. That's okay. And I'm going to put my bottom on that block towards the front of the block, so not right at the back of it, towards the front of it. I'll show you quickly. So I sit towards the front of that, and as I cross my legs, I kind of almost tip forward. You see how the block tips up a little bit? This will help draw my lower back in. It's going to feel good, especially if you do tend to have back pain. Draw my shoulders back over the hips there, and my skull back over my shoulders. You should see me in one nice straight line. This is all good stuff. But it might not be for you. You might get here and feel like you're still rounded. So another option is to come to your knees and sit kneeling. So most of us can get this curve, so bad back people, this is awesome, can get this curve a lot easier when we're kneeling, but it can create some compression on the knees. So you could either pop a block there between the shins, but the blocks can be quite hard and squeeze a little bit. So we could also, I'll just find my cushion. This will be a bit nicer. Put a cushion there and sit down. Also, if you do have a bad back, you're absolutely very welcome to take a chair or sit with your back against a wall. Another option would be to sit with this cushion or your block underneath your bottom and have your legs out long, especially if you tend to get a bit of compression in your knees. So you're at home with this video, feel free to press pause and find somewhere that you could sit for maybe 5 minutes quite comfortably. All right, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders. So experiment with cross legs, with kneeling like this, and maybe go to a chair. But I want you to find a nice, comfortable seat. All right? So experiment and then join me. I'm going to sit cross-legged. So one of the key sort of landmarks for you is to notice if your knees, these are your hip creases here, where you sit and your leggings crease a bit. If your knees are at a level with or lower than your hip creases, then that means you're probably okay. So if mine were up here, I'd take another block and put it under my bottom. I'm already on a cushion, okay? And I probably will for the rest of my life be on a cushion. There's no harm in using these props and things, especially as a beginner. Go for the props every time, okay? So now you're in a comfortable seat. I'm hoping your lower back is drawing in. Take your shoulders back over your pelvis. Take your ears back. Did you know your skull weighs about 4 or 5 kilos? So if you have it hanging forward, that's a lot of weight down your spine, okay? So really be conscious of taking it back without throwing the chin up or down. Chin wants to be kind of level with the earth. See how I've got this space at my throat? I can smile. So I take my ears back. So if I'm moving it back from here, it's almost like I'm being pulled by my ears back, not lifting or dropping my chin. All right, so take your turtleneck back. Take a big breath in and lift your shoulders. Feel like you're the Michelin man. Filling up, turn your palms up and just let your hands rest on your thighs. And we're going to today work with natural breath. So as we breathe with natural breath, you're going to breathe just through your nose, which means you can keep your lips sealed, but don't squeeze them shut. I want you to think about the breath, but don't over effort. And that's going to be the case in everything that we do. So we'll think about it, be conscious of it, but don't push or hurt or ram into anything, all right? So with your eyes open, just take a couple of breaths. In and out through your nose. Don't change anything, because you've probably been doing this for however many years and maybe have never noticed how you breathe. So think, oh yeah, it's tickling in through my nose. There it is. Now try soft, don't go okay, like a bull. Breathe gently in like you're sniffing a gorgeous dessert, maybe it's apple pie or something. Breathe in, that scent. Exhale it away with equal softness. And then you could start to get interested in that. Feel it tickle your nostril and the hairs there. And feel where does it draw up? Up the nose. Probably feel it in the bridge of the nose. We call this space between the eyebrows, your third eye. And it moves into the skull and the front of the brain there. And then you might lose sort of a sense of feeling of it there, but you'll feel it then. You won't feel the air so much, but you'll feel the physicality of your lungs filling up. So as you breathe in, try and expand the body cavity. We'll do more work on this in week 3. And exhale it away. But I just want you today to simply find a natural breath. And this is already a form of meditation. So by simply resting your attention in your breath, automatically you'll become more thoughtful and things will slow down. Okay, so as you do that, maybe it feels natural to you to close your eyes. If that freaks you out, you can keep them open. But personally, I feel more sensitive to these sort of inner feelings with my eyes closed. So in and out through your nose. And as it comes in, it's almost like a little vibration as it vibrates the hairs in your nose, up in your nostril. In and out. everything moves and vibrates. Gas and air vibrates just a bit faster than a liquid and faster still than a solid. But everything has this innate vibration, so feel the in and out of your breath as we try to yuj and yoke to our breath. And notice how a deep, steady, slow breath makes us feel more at ease, more relaxed, as opposed to a short, shallow, high breath, which will be more associated with moments of stress and tension. So we can make our body feel more at ease by breathing it. So let me conduct you. Squeeze all the air out your nostrils and then inhale long and deep, and exhale long and deep again. Remember, just using your nostrils. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Take a couple more rounds like that, and now I'm going to be quiet because this is quite a personal journey, and I'll be quiet and allow you to really kind of tune in and listen to your breath for 3 or 4 rounds. You already may feel a little calmer. I want you to try and maintain this breath as we move through our class today. So very gently now, bringing your hands to prayer, remembering this is not a religious practice, but it is a spiritual one, and this hand to prayer is a blessing to ourselves, no God or anything, to the God in you. And if you feel comfortable, you can also try starting with an Om. We often begin the practice with an Om, or the chant of the Anusara invocation, and close with an Om. So if you'd like to join me for the Om, it's a vibration here at your chest, and then in the face and in the nasal passages. And that vibration can be so calming and centering. Okay? And then I'll sing 1 round of the Anusara invocation. If you happen to know it, feel free to join in and we'll do another Om. Okay, take a deep breath in. Om. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om. Take another full breath in, a long breath out as you open up to that breath. Open up to a new practice. Your breath fills you from the inside, and the exhale breath softens the skin of you. Well done. Open your eyes. Really well done. We're going to start by standing up. We're now on the mat, and if you want to, you could get a felt tip pen as well. I'm going to mark my feet because it's quite important how we stand. We don't want to, if you watch my feet here, I don't want to be standing out like this. Some of us will have a tendency to do it with more than one leg than the other, or perhaps you're even pigeon-toed. And this can have a ripple effect up your back. So let's start by getting nicely aligned. If you bring your fingers to your hip points, the bones of your hips, and you want your feet directly beneath those. So beneath your hip points, you'll be tracking down your thigh bones, cutting through your knees, and then your shin bones should be directly beneath that. That little dent in your ankles is at the arch of your ankle there. And I'm going to put a little dot at the arch of the ankle. If you want to draw onto, you can. And then carry on down to the second toe, so the one next to the big toe. I'm going to put a mark there. And then join those two lines up. Okay. So I've got two lines which I want parallel. And this might be, if you look down and close your eyes and walk around and just pretend, you know, you're walking, if you're allowed out, walking down the high street or something, and you stand still, do your lines come back parallel or are they slightly out? Okay, and as we move through our yoga practice today, I want you to try and keep these lines parallel and directly beneath the hip creases. This is us bringing our body back to the what we call in Anusara Yoga, the optimal blueprint. This is where all the bones are stacked nicely and properly. That allows our muscles to sit or work better, our vascular system, our blood and our arteries, everything to be aligned and not be compressed or kinked. Same with the pranic system, which is your energy body. That'll feel good too if we have everything in this optimal blueprint. So try and keep that, all right? So feet inner hip width apart, and then spread your toes. Pick up your toes and imagine you're trying to spread your little toe and your fourth toe right wide. It might make you lift your eyebrows, so spread them wide. Push the big toe mound down and the inner heel down, and then like you're stretching your foot to the side of the room. Spread your toes. Then try and keep that lovely width. This is now creating a bigger foundation for you to balance on and release the toes down. And that might take a bit of work. Lift your toes again. Now as you lift your toes, you'll create arch here, which is good, especially if you've got collapsed arches. You have a big arch here and a smaller one on the other side. So lift and widen. And every time you come back to the top of your mat, we want to be like this. All right, this lovely foundation. It makes us feel steady and ready for whatever else I'm going to throw at you, but also in everyday life you want to stand like this. So lift and widen your toes. Push the inner edges of your feet down, and then take a breath in and lift up through the pelvic floor. So draw up there, draw the lower ribs in. Take a big breath into your side body. Bend your elbows and lift, breathe. Take your shoulders back. Widen across your collarbones and spin your hands forward. Lift your chin again, just like when you were seated. And open up. So close your eyes and you might feel more surface area of your feet on the earth. Relax. This is your first yoga pose. This is Tadasana and you're awesome. Well done. So you are officially have done your first yoga pose. So you are officially now a yogi. This is Tadasana, which is Sanskrit. You're going to learn not only physical poses, but another language. All right. Once more, lift and widen your toes. Now imagine you're drawing your feet together, but they don't actually move. Your muscles of your legs will turn a little bit. And then draw up, lift your pelvic floor. Once again, shoulders back. Tadasana. And then inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, bring them down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring them down. See how we move with the breath? Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, bring your left hand down beside your thigh. Take another inhale so that you're growing up through the legs. And exhale, bow down to your left. Now, as you do this, keep your chin lifted, keep a smile on your face, and you'll start to feel more length in this right side body there. I'm mirroring you, by the way. Maybe turn your head and really push down through your right foot. See if you can come over a little bit more and extend. You're going to stretch and deepen your breath. Today is mainly about breath and foundation, listening to newness and opening up to your new practice. Okay, keep bowing over. And then inhale, come up, float this arm up again. And then as you exhale, float your right hand down. Inhale, that's super long. Exhale, bow down the other side. So the feet still stay this way, aligned. Take your hips to the left, and from your left hip, this is called your side body. You want to get longer. Lift your chin, bow it over. Notice if your chin has tucked in. Notice if your breath has stopped. Try and tune into that, and we tune the body to the breath, your inner world to the outer world. Okay. One more breath, guys, and then inhale, come on up. Sweep your hands down and around, and you bring them as if you're about to tuck them into, or stroke your own bottom, or tuck them into your back pockets there. Draw the elbows back, lift your chin, and take ever such a gentle back bend. Okay, and then inhale, come on up. Well done. Bring your hands to your hips, and as we bow forward, we're going to be hinging from the hip joint. So try that. Bring your hands to your hips, and you imagine you've got a bolt through your hips. And just try this a couple of times, forwards and backwards, hinging at the hip. Sometimes when we bow forward, you might try to hinge from up here between the shoulders, or somewhere here in the back, which will end up being more hunched, okay? So to remain healthy, lift your toes, tone the muscles of your legs, and then hinge from the hips, come down a little way, and then come back up. Now, it may well be that you're not going to be able to touch the floor. I'm expecting as a beginner, you probably can't. So what you're going to do is take one or potentially even two blocks in front of you, your torso length away from you. Okay, and that's what you're going to aim for. Inhale, look up, wrap the elbows back, exhale, hinge at the hips, keep your toes lifted, come down, and then release the hands onto the blocks. Try not to lunge and reach, draw your shoulder blades on your back, and even if you can touch the floor easily, maybe try it with a block today. Soften on your exhale. Take an inhale and extend your spine halfway. And as you exhale, draw your tummy button in and see if you can bow a bit deeper. So you might find you could take the blocks down a little bit. But please don't overdo it. It's better that you work that edge. Again, inhale, lengthen. See if you can keep that nice curve in your lower back. And exhale, bow down. You don't want to feel any pulling up by the bum. Okay, you want to feel this in the stretching in the backs of the calves. Uttanasana, this is called. And then to come up, inhale, extend your spine halfway. Here's a trick. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and use the leg strength to bring you up. Wrap your elbows back. Legs are strong as they come up. Inhale, reach, and exhale, hands to your heart. Let's try that again. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Take another inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips and bow forward. You'll notice we take an exhale breath to come down and an inhale breath halfway lift. Exhale, bow, hold it there. Check out your toes, check those lines are parallel. And then bend your knees a little bit, hands to your hips. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Try that again. Inhale, reach. A little bit quicker this time. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen. Hinging from the hips, bow forward. Hands to your blocks. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, hands to your hips. Come on up. stretch up. See how you use your leg strength. And then exhale, hands to your heart center. Release your hands, take a big breath in. Well done, you've just done your first yoga flow. Exhale, out. You might find you use a lot of brain cells, so don't clench your face, don't clench your jaw either. Maybe make a funny face there. All right, next one is called chair pose. All right, so you want your feet parallel, and once again, bring your hands to your hips. I'll angle off slightly differently so you can see it. You probably want to be at the top of your mat, okay? And I'm going to really put my weight into my heels. Do something first called downhill skier. So I'm going to bring my hands to the thighs and sit back. So like you're skiing or something. I also call this public toilet pose. So it's as if you're going onto a public toilet, excuse the thought, and you really don't want to sit on the toilet seat. So how you would do that, you put your weight right back. Often we can make this mistake of bringing the knees beyond the ankles, and not great for the knees, all right? So sit back and down into chair pose. In Sanskrit, this is Tadasana. It might get called thunderbolt. Can you feel your legs working? Maybe take the hands off the knees, bring them to your hips. And you can choose to go a little bit deeper, but keep the weight in the heels. That's probably enough for today. And then some of you might choose to sweep the arms up. Don't go any deeper. Spread your fingers and turn your thumbs up to the ceiling and keep your little fingers down. Sit back down. This is chair pose, public toilet pose. One more breath. Inhale. Come on up. Awesome. We've done loads of poses now. Let's try that again. Hands on the hips. Hinge and sit into downhill skier. Option 1. Now I often teach in these steps, and you get the choice to stay at option 1 or release your hands to option 2. This will happen quite a lot. Or reach the arms up and forward. Option 3. Sit down a little bit more. One more breath, everybody. Smile. Inhale. Come on up. And exhale, bring your hands to the heart and down beside you. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Doing such an awesome job. Well done. Now, bring your hands to your hips again. You're going to keep the feet parallel, and this time bend your left leg at the knee. So see how my foot just lifts. Let the knee come forward, and then start to turn the knee out to the side by engaging your booty. So turn right at the top of the hips, so turn right up there, turning the heel forwards. And then nestle that into your ankle. This is Rakshasana, tree pose. You could bring your arms out to the side, or maybe reach them up like a Y shape. This will help you keep your balance. Okay, and then some of you might like to try and bring this foot up into your calf. Now, just a note of caution here, please don't bring it up to your knee. This is a delicate joint, you can push the knee joint out. So make sure your foot isn't touching the knee in any way. Turn your palms up, lift your heart and open up. Say, yay, I'm doing something new, I'm trying yoga. Bring a smile to your face and breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale your hands down. That was tree pose. Well done. Let's do the other side now. So bend your right leg, let the knee come forward, and then as if you're turning right at the top of the hip there, your right hip will work for you to turn it, and you feel your bottom turn a little bit. Now this leg, don't let the hip sway out, squeeze that to a midline. And you can stay here with your foot on that ankle, or maybe some of you could bring it up to your calf. Spread the toes, especially for the foundational leg. Squeeze in. Take a big breath in. Remember, this is the side body. Open your shoulders and then maybe reach the arms either out to the side or up like a Y shape. That's enough for today. If you know all the fancy things we could do with the hands, we'll do those another day. This is enough. This is yoga for 3, 2, and 1. exhale, bring the hands down, bring the leg down, release your hands down. Awesome. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. So we always aim to keep our breath calm and steady. By the way, do take a sip of water at any stage if you do need it. We're now going to come to the top of the mat, so I'm going to have these blocks either side of the mat, just in case I need them. All right. So come right to, so I refer to this as the long side of your mat, surprise, surprise, and the short side of your mat. No big surprise there. Stand with your feet this inner hip width apart and with your magic lines nice and parallel. Okay, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees, hinging at your hips. Now, if you need the blocks here, get hold of them. Inhale, extend your spine halfway, and then bring your fingertips down to the mat, right beside your feet. So you're going to need to bend your knees a lot for this, okay? And then step your left leg back to a lunge. Now, see how I've stepped mine way back, so that, in other words, can you see my right knee? It doesn't overshoot this ankle, it's in one line. So watch this, you don't want this. This is not good for this right knee here. You want that drawn back. So if you've gone too short with your stance, chances are your knee. So what you can do is bring your hands down and work this back leg further back until you can be sure this knee is down. You can bring your back knee down just on your fingertips, so don't weigh down into your hands, and look up. So we take a couple of breaths in this style of yoga in each pose. This isn't flow yoga. And then lift your back leg, step it forward, and step your right leg back. Again, make sure the stance is long enough and bring that knee down to the mat. Pause and breathe. And again, we're just going to switch legs. So lift the back knee up. Watch this. I can use it like a little spring to step me up. Now you might need your blocks here. I'll show it to you with blocks. Step up. Step your left leg back. This time we're not going to bring the knee down, but you always have the option to if you're tired or you want to. Now this is runner's lunge with the knee up. Look up and try not to round down. So look at your toes, spread your right toes, root down through all 5 toes of the back leg. Very light touch with the fingers. Now take a lovely breath in and out. Soften and be in runner's lunge. This is doing you good. Okay, and we're going to switch legs. So bend the back leg, step it forward, step the right leg back. Remember that nice big step, and if you need to wiggle it back to do that, do so please. Spread your toes. I'll move the block so you can see my nice toes spread. This line is sending forward. Super. And then step that right foot forward. Let's do it again. Step the left foot back, knee stays up. Taking it on a stage, you could always stay here, but try now to float the fingers. Push into that foundation. That's what today's all. Now, start to take a big breath in through your nose. And use that to help bring you up. It sort of draws in strength. Bring your hands to your hips. Keep the back leg straight if you can. A little bend in the knee might help you out. And really spread the toes. Some of you will be able to reach the arms overhead and straighten the back leg. This is a crescent lunge. Smile, spread your fingers, enjoy. Lovely. And then bring the hands down. Let's try the other side. So step the left foot forward and the right foot back. Well done. Remember, the option is to stay here or start to float the fingers. Now start to take a big breath in and use that courageously to bring you up Feel like you're getting wider in your collarbones and like the breath is, bolstering you up from the inside. Bring a smile to your face. And you could well choose not to pick up your arms. Nothing is compulsory. But if you'd like to try, reach your arms up. Twinkle the fingers. Smile. Super. And then sweep those hands down. Let's step the right foot forward. Coming up safely. Bend the knees. Make sure the feet are separated. Hands to your hips. Shoulders back. Elbows lifted. Press in. Inhale, come up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Release your hands down beside you and take a beautiful breath in. An incredible breath out. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Well done. Okay, now let's come and face the long side of our mat. And I want you to step your feet wide. Now this often can have some confusion, so how wide is wide? So here is too narrow, and if you're doing the splits, that's going to be too much. So your body is different to mine. You basically want to bring your wrists out, and your ankles need to be underneath your wrists. So if you step the foot out, and you can maybe look at this in the mirror, get someone to take a selfie of you, or you can roughly judge this for yourself. Making sure your magic lines remain parallel, so they're not turned out, they're turned in slightly, so those lines still are parallel even though they're wider apart now. Bring your hands to your hips and still spread your toes. You want those arches and that foundation. That'll bring a little bit of tone to your legs, and we're going to do more on that muscular energy next week. Bring your hands to your hips. Okay, and then from here you're going to pivot your left toes to the short edge of your mat. See how I've turned my whole foot round? So that now if I drew a line from my heel to the arch of this back foot, I'd be on a little tightrope. So wiggle your foot, this back foot stays parallel to the back edge of the mat, and this front foot faces the front. Okay, but your torso still stays aligned with this long side of the mat. Lift your arms up. Now as you exhale, start to bend your front knee slightly. It's going to be your left knee, and check if you don't engage anything, this left knee will probably drop in here. You need to tone your booty so that the knee tracks over your line there of your foot towards the second toe. So I'll do that towards the camera for you, pretend I'm on my mat. As I lunge in, I don't want the knee to drop like this or push over. See how my foot lifts? See, you don't want it dropped or dropped. You want to track it right down that line, but keep the knee from overshooting the ankle. So again, this is not going to be good for your knee. So you need to walk your back leg further back so that the knee stacks over the ankle. You're on a tightrope, bend into the leg, keep your torso turned to the long side, and then reach. There you go. You're in more. This is the last pose before we sit down, guys. You're doing so well. This is called Warrior 2. Turn your head over and to look down your left hand. Take one more breath, opening up to all this newness. You're doing so well. And then straighten your left leg. Turn the toes in. Pause. And we'll do the other side. We'll recap this next week, but you'll get the general shape of the pose. So the toes turn out. You're on a tightrope. Bend the knee to a square. Torso to the long edge. Reach your arms up and turn your head down and around to your right fingers. This is Warrior 2. One more breath. Take a big breath in. Are you breathing? And then straighten that front leg. Turn the toes in. Bend your knees, and you can either do a big jump together, or you could heel toe. So turn the heels in, toes in, heels, toes. Okay, let's take a seat now, and we're going to the energy of the class starts to shift when we go down. So bring those, if you have got a cardigan, or if you did want a blanket, bring that with you so that you're not having to jump up and down for all your stuff, okay? Bring your bum down. Now bring your legs out and shimmy yourself to the end of the mat so that when we come to relaxation, you're not having to mess around. You can lay down nice and flat, all right? Bend your left leg in. Now your right leg is as if it's still standing on the floor, so flex the toes, keep your magic line shooting up to the ceiling, so it's still shin and thigh and hip in a line. Exhale your left knee down to the side. Do you remember when we did tree pose, we turned right from the hips, so really turn the whole hip around and open to the best that you can. Flex your toes. Fingertips can be behind you. Inhale. Hinge at the hips as you push your fingers down and away from you. Launch with your heart and bow forwards. Now, well, it may be that this is as far as you get. And if you are with your nose touching your knee there, I invite you to come up today. Maybe bring your hands forward, but don't worry about going any deeper. This is called Janusasana. A nice forward bend. And we always finish a yoga class with a couple of twists and a forward bend. And then Shavasana. So you know where we're going. Inhale, come on up. Bring your left knee up and release, sit down. Pause and land. This is what this first principle is all about. Being open, pausing, feeling the stillness. Especially as we wind the class down. Bend your right leg. Bring the knee out to the side. Flexing the left toes. See how my magic line here doesn't drop or doesn't sink. It flexes. Inhale, fingertips behind you. Get some length. Exhale, bow forward a little bit. Perhaps bring the hands forward, but be happy with this today. Be happy with just this gentle start. A gentle noticing of your breath and perhaps a slightly quieter place inside your brain. All right. And then inhale, come on up. Well done. Extend the right leg and then bend both legs. This is a little bit of fun. Scoot the bottom forward. Reach both arms up, and as you bring the hands down, see if you can get the little toe edge of your foot. Now, if you can't get this, grab your leggings or grab your calves, okay? And then careful that there's not a water bottle or something behind you. As you lie down, you can take your leggings, okay, take your calves, or maybe the outside edges of your feet and lie back. Now try not to lift your bum right off the mat. See how my tailbone's down on the mat. Flex your toes. Again, as now your legs are in the air, but I still want you to think of that lovely surface area of your foot. Imagine they were gills between your toes now, and you could breathe through those gills. As you begin to realize yoga is not just about a physical movement, it's an internal opening and movement as well. You're going to be surprised what you open yourself up to in the next 5 weeks. This is called happy baby or blissful baby. I hope you feel blissful. Maybe you can rock it side to side like a little baby. Notice I've got this 90-degree angle here, so my heels are not on my bottom. Okay. And then come to the center. Stop rocking if you're rocking. Be still. As we come now to Shavasana. All right, so hug your knees into your chest. Bring your feet down to the mat. Take a big breath in. Press your elbows into the mat and scoot, lift your upper back up and see if you can draw your shoulder blades towards each other and down your back. And then release your left hand down, palm up. Right hand down, palm up. Pause. Let the knees gently knock together and your feet work them to the sides of the mat. So soften inward. Feel your breath again guided in and out. This is an appropriate time to put on your eye pillow if you have one. maybe your blanket or your socks. And you've worked on that outer body. Now close your eyes and see what your inner world feels like. Open up to all that depth to you. It's amazing. And then ever so slowly extend your left leg. Unless you've got a bad back, you can leave it like this. Extend your left leg to the left corner of the mat. The right leg right to the right side of the mat. And let the toes separate and flop. And now let go. Maybe scoot the shoulder blades even more. Make sure your chin is neither tucked right down or right extended halfway. And then notice your breath in and out, this gentle yogaing, yujing, connecting. Connecting to this inner world. In and out. And that's all you have to do for the next minute or so. I'm going to leave you here. I'll stay with you. Just thinking of the breath. This is an inhale. This is an exhale. My breath draws in. My breath draws away. In and out. In and out. Relax. And then before you move again, before we come back, that was just a short Shavasana today. I want you to take notice of how you feel. And that to me is yoga, you recognizing how lovely and relaxed, or maybe a bit more zen, however you want to describe it. How do you feel? And bringing yourself to that chilled out place, that's yoga magic. So take and enjoy that place, a couple more breaths. Bend your knees, wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. And then ever so slowly, maybe a bit reluctantly, even turn to your right hand side. You can let your eye pillow slide off. Pause on your side. And then gently start to press into your fingers. Coming up to a seat again. You know, any seat on your block, your pillow, or kneeling. Just take a moment again before you rush. This is the most important part. You let all of this land, this deliciousness land. Really well done. You've done your first yoga class. Bring your hands to your heart center. And if you want to join me for this vibration, sing like no one's listening. So you've opened up to feeling good and to your own physical and spiritual health. Take a deep breath in. Namaste. And namaste means I bow to you, or I bow the light in me, The light at my heart, this beautiful space that we've discovered today, acknowledges and sees and bows honestly down the vibes, down the recording, sees the light in you too. Even though we're not together, I feel the connection between similar human beings. So namaste, yogis. Really well done. You have this class on recording, so you could repeat it a couple more times before we meet again. I suggest no more than 3. Don't overdo it, but it would be lovely if you could try it again before we meet again. Okay, take deep care, and I'll see you next week.